Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How everybody doing? Hope you're doing well, because I'm doing well. Everything's looking real nice and nice here. Um, oh, did we break that high pre-market? No, we still have not broken it. My God, we missed it by a hair. Um, okay. Really good stuff. Really good stuff, right? This is what we wanted. We said that we might retest the broken low here intraday and then have a huge rally. Broke it. Toxic. Toxic. You're so toxic that it actually did this. This is like the playbook of the Fed. The Fed did this in the bottom of COVID. We rallied huge off the bottom on a down day, and then we sold off, broke the bottom the next 2 days, and then ripped. Okay, so the what I want to see coming is a rally into the middle of October, just like we've been saying, and a violent one at that. I think we just double bottomed in terms of momentum. I want to see a rally into the middle-ish of October, which goes after the CPI. I want to see us rip on the CPI. It's all based on ripping higher on the CPI because it would be the face of the rally coming. And everything is set up quite perfectly for this. We want to see everything hit accordingly. Okay, targets 390. Everyone is talking about 390, 390, 390. And yes, that's a big, huge wave dynamic move. What I would love to see is us hit 390 before the CPI. 3.5% higher. I would love to see it hit it before next Thursday and then roll over to the downside before the CPI. So you hit it, you retest it, and then you fail, and then the bears go, I told you, you're just, retesting the trend and failing, and then the CPI comes in and changes the whole ball game. I believe we're bullish from here. I believe we're going to have one more volatility event after this rally. So it's not like you missed the bottom, but this was definitely the tradable bottom that you needed to be in because you don't want to be chasing this. Couple of important things that happen and we'll go over. So we rally into mid-October, the 14th, the 24th ish, somewhere there, with the possibility of Apple selling off the end of the month on earnings. I think there were $5 million in puts for November 120 strike on Apple. I don't think we go to 120, but there's a lot of OI to the downside, and it makes a lot of sense that we kept talking about how our market this year has been doing the complete opposite of what we did off the bottom of COVID from the April to the June spot. It was like literally day for day. It was freakish. And then somewhere we kept talking about how we want to see how somewhere does it stop doing that, or is it just going to keep doing it throughout? And then we may actually stop doing it. We may actually start doing the exact pattern of this because we had the weird VIX swell here where the VIX went up when the market went up, and exactly what happened here. So you blow off top August, blow off top August. We may be doing the exact thing here because this bottomed September 24th, or we would say the end of September here, and then we ripped into October 12th here, which is the CPI here coming. So if we rip into it and then you see a blow off top and a reversal into the CPI, I would expect a lot of chop going into earnings seasons, and then you want to see the rollover, right? It just falls off a cliff here going into Apple earnings, and then the Fed meeting right there November 2nd. So be aware that are we doing the opposite or are we doing the same? If we rip into the middle of October and we start chopping, it's more probable that we're doing the same, not the opposite. So we would roll over on Apple earnings, and then the Fed meeting, I would expect maybe some sort of a sell-off into the end of day, and then like you gap up the next day and then absolutely face rip. This was literally the vaccine. So you're going to absolutely face rip. Maybe we might even just sell off on the Fed and then just go straight up that day type of thing. But that's the type of pattern you look for. I don't know if we break the low of this year with this sell-off. The VIX should spike in a way it hasn't spiked before. Everyone's waiting for the VIX spike. I think that's when you're finally going to get it, because this would be stabilizing down for the volatility to come next year and the years to come. So it should be a very, very violent spike in the VIX. And again, this is all contingent upon us rallying here into the middle of October. I would love to see something like this where we explode up into the zero line and then start going down into it, where you flash crash down into the zero line. It's literally so beautiful when you crash down into a zero line and then you touch it, activate, boom, and there you go. Like, it's so nice. I would love to see that again. I would love to see this again. If we can rally out going into CPI, have this huge explosion up. Next week, we go above the zero line, and then we chop, and then sell off violently into the Apple earnings. So we will see. We'll see how this plays out. It doesn't have to do exactly, but it'd be really clean. Otherwise, we're just looking for a 390 test, a failure, and then an explosion above it. We still have the glitch trade on the Russell. This is super, super, super toxic on the Russell. How we said that it's super unlikely that you get a glitch trade here up 6% and then you drop 9% and then you come back up to it again and then you start losing momentum. This was peak momentum right here. Once you break it, stabilizes up. Again, glitch trade up, flash crash down 9%. Toxic, super toxic. But this had bearish bias in it. Now we have a bullish bias in it. I don't know if we're going to get there on this pop in October. This would be insane because this is 10% higher. This is 10% higher before we roll over before Apple earnings. So keep in mind, that's a target. We're going to get there. That is a target. I don't know if we're going to get there after the well, it would be after the CPI. But does this happen before Apple earnings, or do we pop on Apple earnings? Things like that. It's all based on what we do this week going into Apple earnings. Okay. Another massive thing that happened was the DAX ETF that you could look at here. There was a massive glitch trade here. At the bottom, open red, open red, open red, open red on the 4-hour. Massive compression, that is, into a glitch trade 11% higher. So there's still about 4% higher here. So we have an alarm here, and there's a downtrend here. So we want to see it break on it. So if you retest it, if you test it here before CPI, you get rejected, and then the CPI gaps above it, which would be next Thursday. Something like that is what you're looking for. But you want to see this break. You want to see this break. And then the flash crash, the end of October, early November, would be the retest of this type of thing, right? So you break out, you finally break out of this, and then you get the retest of it. It's bullish. It's a bullish pattern. You're just retesting the broken downtrend, but it's going to feel very, very, very bad. The fractal of it dropping here to retest this makes you feel and think it is the same downtrend, but it's not. So it's going to be very, very brutal. Look at the volume on DAX. The highest volume in history. The highest volume in history crushes the bottom of COVID. Okay? That is a massive fucking print. A massive print. And it happens right on triple open reds of a bottom. Okay? That is a massive print. That is definitely a trigger of sorts. Definitely a trigger. We get the weekly MACD cross. Even Bitcoin, this is a massive coil to the downside of a large wave. It is catching a lot of weight. Do you know how rare this is to just kind of do this with the negative DMI? Like, it is catching this blow off top, it's flattening out. It's creating a huge base. There is so much momentum in the market and in Bitcoin and everything. Just grinding and oversold. It's ready for the activation. And then you get the activation and then the end of October. So to go from here to here, it's very hard to go again from here to here without any sort of volatility. In this case, it could because of how coiled this is. But anyway, we got the Russell, which puts the S&P around 402 to 410, which is the top of that, 403, or the gap at 411. And you got the downtrend up here at around 412, which would be about next week, 415-ish. So these are all the targets you want to stay. I actually can't say what to do, but be aware. Also, one of the most important things is this glitch trade that happened to fill the gap. We didn't trade here during the day, okay? There's only two things that it could mean. Okay? We have the hourly that we haven't touched the zero line yet, so we might actually sell off today for that to touch the zero line going into the number tomorrow. We had a glitch trade pre-market, okay, which it's either becomes a slingshot or it becomes a magnet. Okay, we tried going there yesterday and we really rejected it really hard. So what we do today is very, very important. If we hold here, we break this high and we hold, you'd expect to see the 390 by next week, maybe even Friday, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. That target is still there. That target is still there. And there is a big line from June at 365. Where is it? Where is my line here? There it is. There it is. Right? So we have the glitch trade here. Do we test it first? If the market wanted to be super, super toxic, yeah, we would come back down to the yellow line before the CPI, touch that glitch trade, and then we'd have to explode up to the upside. That's a possibility as well. I don't think it happens, but we shall see, right? March 2023, 100, how much is that? 35,000 calls bought at 140 on the VIX for March of 2023. People are betting massive. Again, there was the most SPY puts ever put on the market this week. And then the Bank of England saved the market. This is classic bottoming pattern, bottoming psychology. Everyone in the world is unbelievably bearish. This is probably one of the best calls I've ever made because of how unbelievably bearish the entire world was and me seeing something completely different. November 50 calls on the VIX and it instantly dropped. So that's specific again, where the VIX can spike above the 38 high very briefly. Yeah, and then we have this trend line right here. So we're looking for this to be either a target or we break it briefly and then we sell off end of October on that final sell off into the yellow line, right? So you're bearish going into this and then you want to come out, activate the bullish trend and then retest it with bullish momentum. You're a bullish trend with bullish momentum. You have a violent kickback. And what that does is creates a slingshot effect. So that's what this looks like. And if it plays out, that's what it is. And all you need to do is to see part of it play out for you to have the probability drastically increase. But you have a retest of that glitch trade here. When you have a glitch trade that fills the gap and goes, this becomes a slingshot. It fills the gap intraday when it didn't actually go there intraday. So it becomes a slingshot or it's a magnet. And it could even be both. You could slingshot and then again roll over at the end of October, early November. That's what we're looking for. We're almost out of this, boys. There is no recession. There is no recession. There is no massive sell-off or the VIX spike or I'm going to be rich. This is not the time for it. This is not the time for it. This is not the time for it. It's not going to happen. People freaking out. CPI is going to come down and PEs are going to improve dramatically, really quickly. And people don't want to believe it because they think the economy is rolling over and all this stuff. They're married to the bear thesis narrative. And that's what happens at bottoms. That is what happens. You become married to it. You miss half the move and then you're forced to take part in the rally. So let's just be aware. This is a very important day, Thursday. And then we have the data tomorrow morning, whether we're going to come back down and retest this 365 before the CPI and then rip, or we're going to retest 390 first and then get rejected. And then the CPI has to take us to Valhalla. And that's what I want to see. We went over the Russell glitch trade, the DAX. There's a news feed. There's an algo trigger on the VIX, which makes us rally short term. This is what the whole basis was for. There's an algo trigger and you can't fight the algos. So no matter what, we should go higher. It's just about when and how. I think the memes will activate as well. I think they'll activate really violently with this CPI print next week. Anything else? We double bottomed at the 364 glitch trade from January. Very, very important. You could see the power of it falling off a cliff. Like, why are we rallying when the worst thing is ever happening? The Bank of England flinched, right? So this is our economy. We've been doing it since 09. Every time something bad happens, everybody flinches, and then the market goes up. And it's just the way it has been forever and ever and ever. But the 364 glitch trade, you see the power of it. You may either retest it one last time from above in a big scary way, then it holds, or you break it briefly. It becomes like a trap door, like an air pocket really quickly for like a day or a week, something like that. That's all probable. That's all possible within the realm of reason with the glitch trade here that it can't break, so to speak. And that's that. And that's that. We'll see how this plays out. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We'll see if this is an inverted head and shoulders. So it'll be like the shoulder, the head, the shoulder, and this is 370 to 380, puts us around 390-ish, 391-ish or something. So we'll see. We'll see if this can hold. If this bottom breaks, if it breaks intraday, that's fine, but it needs to literally hold, has to hold. And if it holds, then the Friday has to pop, and then we're on our way. But I believe it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. GG's, guys. We're almost there. We are literally almost there. It's amazing what the market has done. Is there anything else? Rally October. We sell off the end of October. And all the fundamentals, first of all, the psychology on the market is more contrarian. Everybody is so unbelievably bearish that it's way more likely for us to go up rather than go down here. And so that's not helping the bear case. It was like the bearish sentiment was 60% 2 weeks in a row, and that never happened before in history. Like, it's actually unbelievably overdone. Yeah, this doesn't help it. I think that's it. There's a few other things I could talk about, but that's just the gist of it. And just be aware of what the possible waves are. I don't see this breaking down in any shape or form. 365 line here, and that glitch trade would be the target, if at all, short term. And if we hold 390, kickback, explode up, and then violent sell-off the end of October and the bottom early November. So you see that this is what worried me all fucking year. This could be a blow off bottom, but you have to rip out of this, and we didn't rip out of it. We chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped right into the trend line, and now you're crashing into this, because then this is why we talked about how that would turn into this, fills the gap. You want this candle, which expires October 21st, to close a green doji of sorts, so you explode higher and then pull back to like 390, 380, whatever. So you get a green doji, and then you get a lower wick October, November. So you get like a double bounce. So you go into the downtrend, you reject it, you go up into the downtrend, you break it, and then retest it in the October, November candle. You get the lower wick to some extent. So we may even like break it up here and then retest it down to like 390 or something, and then go. We might not even go back down to here. So yeah, it's just very important to be long going into this October move, because if we do break out on CPI, you're going to be really wanting to chase it, and that's not where you want to be chasing it. Right? GG's, guys. This is going to be fun. We're almost there. Oh my God. Alrighty. Till next time. Peace.